Work order allocations was created by E2B Technologies to give manufacturing companies the ability to allocate materials used in work orders for MAS 500 advanced manufacturing. Functions within the module include the ability to create a soft material commitment to a work order. This means that inventory is not hard committed to a work order, therefore it can still be sold, shipped, transferred, or used on another work order if necessary. The ability to reverse or adjust allocations if priorities change. This provides the ability to release work orders when the required components and materials are available using the pre-allocate utility. The ability to allocate materials to critical work orders first. The ability to allocate material based on priority code, schedule date, work order, work centers, warehouse, work order required date, work order release date, and more. The ability to allocate by work order step, the ability to save allocation settings, and the ability to print allocations report. Work order allocations was created using the MAS 500 toolset and is integrated with MAS 500 security, advanced manufacturing, and inventory management. Allocation processing is performed using the work order allocation screen. The Options tab provides the ability to select the display order for the work orders and the priority to be used in the allocation process. The options are: select work orders ordered by reverse order, by work order number, by work order required date, by work order priority code, by schedule date, work order entry date, manufacturing commit date, and work order release date. You can also limit the steps viewed on the Steps tab below to the highlighted work order on the Work Orders tab below by clicking the box on the Options tab. The Select tab is used to enter the selection criteria to be used in selecting the work orders to allocate. The options here are work order, schedule date, warehouse, user ID, allocated status, work centers, work order entry date, manufacturing commit date, priority code, release date, and work order required date. Screen settings can be named and saved for future allocation processing using the same options. For this example, I've set the work order priority code equal to 1. So click Select to populate the grid with work orders that match the select criteria. Five work orders match the select criteria and are set to produce 2 finished good part numbers. I uncheck the box to limit step viewing so I can view all steps for the work orders. Select the Steps tab to view all components required to produce the end items. Both finished items use the same components in this example, so this view provides the ability to evaluate the required quantities against the available quantities. Quantity available in the allocation screen represents the on-hand balance adjusted by pending inventory transactions. In this example, we can see that insufficient quantities of wire exist to produce all the work orders. This screen allows us to select the combination we want to produce and then check the work orders on the Work Order tab by checking the Allocation box. Or we can click on the Pre-Allocate button and the program will select the work orders that can be released based on the component quantities available and the order the work orders appear on the screen. You can make any changes you want to the allocations until you select Proceed, which will actually allocate the components to the work orders selected. In this example, I'm going to uncheck Work Order 121 and check 125 and 127, which can be produced based on the available component quantities I see on the Steps tab. Now let's select Proceed to allocate the materials. We get a message, work orders marked to allocate as listed. The Work Orders tab now shows the 2 work orders as allocated under the Allocated status. Now if we look at the 3 other work orders that were not allocated and click on the Steps tab, we see that the quantity available for the components has been reduced by the 2 work orders that were allocated, and when the quantity available is less than the required quantity, it is highlighted in red. If we come back to the Work Orders tab, these work orders could still be allocated if the Force box is checked. The components would then be reported as over-allocated. This might be acceptable if you know the components will be arriving soon. To view other work orders that are allocated for a component, a right mouse click on the component line will display the status of other allocated work orders. The details include the total quantity on hand and allocated, as well as specific required quantity and quantity issued to date. If materials are unavailable when the allocation is processed, the allocation status is updated to failed, unless Force is checked, which will allocate even though materials are not available. To reset the status, check the Reset Status box and select Proceed. The allocated status is now unallocated once again. Allocations can also be unallocated so that components can be allocated to different work orders. Uncheck the Allocate button, check Reset Status, and select Proceed. The status is now set back to unallocated. The Items Allocated report displays by component the work orders it is allocated to, as well as failed allocations that have not been reset to unallocated. And if the component was over-allocated, that also appears on the report. The total on hand, available, and allocated appears for each component, as well as details for each work order. Options for the report include Summary, Detail, Show Only Over-Allocated, and include failed requirements. As you can see, Work Order Allocations allows material planners to identify which work orders can be released to production based on available materials, and allows prioritization of available materials with specific work orders.